Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 Browns and NFL early and late games recap show, and Saturday special, the football from yesterday's games recap show, and the Sunday night football uh, update show. And we'll get to all of that. We're going to go over all of the first games from Saturday. You already know about the Thursday one, and we'll get to all that. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 Browns NFL Week 16 trivia question. It is a Browns trivia question. Which of these players was a 2007 Pro Bowl selection from the Cleveland Browns? And I'll have the answer later on the podcast. Uh, well, we had two games yesterday. First of all, in the early game, the Kansas City Chiefs came away with the victory over the Houston Texans, 27-19 at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri yesterday. And Patrick Mahomes knew he could run on the ankle he sprained last week. The bigger concern for the Chiefs quarterback was how he would stop when all the weight and pressure and momentum would land squarely upon it. The solution against Houston was simple. Mahomes didn't stop. The two-time MVP kept chugging forward until he plowed into the end zone on a 15-yard scramble to cap the Chiefs' opening drive on Saturday. Mahomes proceeded to throw for 260 yards and another score, never once looking troubled by his ailing ankle, and led Kansas City to a 27-19 victory that put the Chiefs on the brink of the number one seed in the AFC playoffs. The Chiefs are now 14-1, can clinch a postseason bye and home field advantage if Buffalo loses to or ties New England on Sunday. If the Bills win, Kansas City can wrap it up by beating Pittsburgh on Christmas Day. Its third game in an 11-day span. I ask a lot from the guys around me. I feel like I'm going to ask them to play through pain and nicks and bruises. I've got to do it as well, Mahomes said. That's something I pride myself on, is being out there with my guys. Xavier Worthy has 7 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt ran for 55 yards and another score. And Marquise Brown had 5 catches for 45 yards for Kansas City in his first game since after recovering from a shoulder injury. The result was Chiefs coach Andy Reid called his team's most comprehensive performance of the season. As for Mahomes, he spoils the dog out of us. He's so tough, Reid said. You get used to it, but most guys don't come back from that like he did. C.J. Stroud threw for 244 yards and 2 touchdowns with 2 interceptions for Houston, who now fell to 9-6. And one of those TD throws came at a great expense. Tank Dell, who had 6 catches for 98 yards, sustained a devastating knee injury on the play and was taken to the University of Kansas Medical Center, where Texans coach DeMarco Ryans said he would remain overnight. All our thoughts and prayers are with Tank right now. You see what he means to our entire team, Ryans said. It hurts to see him go down like that. He was having a fantastic game, really playing well for us. Stroud was visibly shaken by the injury and had to be consoled by his teammates on the sideline. I mean, all you can really do is pray, he said. Excuse me. There were questions early in the week about whether Mahomes, who had a history of ankle injuries, would play at all after he sustained a high ankle sprain late in last week's win over Cleveland. but he was off the injury report by Friday, and he was on the field leading the Chiefs to a touchdown on their opening possession. His scramble for a score was merely the start of a back and forth first half. Uh, the Texans answered with a 33-yard field goal, then went on a 13 play 82-yard drive that ended with Stroud's touchdown toss to Dalton Schultz, but the Chiefs quickly regained the lead when Hunt barreled into the end zone and they tacked on a field goal a few minutes later after Stroud's second interception to lead 17-10 at the break. Dell was hurt on the Texans' opening drive of the third quarter. He was coming across the back of the end zone and made a spectacular catch, but collided with teammate Jared Wayne on his way to the ground. He immediately grabbed his left knee, and players from both teams surrounded him as he was loaded onto a cart and driven from the field. Kayami Fairbairn promptly missed the extra point, and any momentum Houston might have had disappeared. Kansas City marched the other way, relying heavily on Worthy, who touched the ball for 4 times on the drive. The first-round pick finished it off with an 8-yard reception, giving him a season high for receiving yards and his 8th touchdown of the year. The teams matched fourth quarter field goals, and the Texans took over, trailing 27-19. Over 5 minutes to go, but the Chiefs forced the 3-and-out, getting a sack from Josh Williams on a quarterback blitz and ran out the clock from there. This was a great test versus a really good playoff team, Ryan said. This was a playoff atmosphere here today. I thought our guys battled the right way. We just have to finish. Pop star Taylor Swift was on hand for the Chiefs' regular season finale. She has been spending more time with her boyfriend. Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce is in Kansas City since she wrapped up her Eras tour on December 8th in Vancouver, British Columbia, including making a surprise visit to the Children's Mercy Hospital. Houston offensive guard Shaq Mason left the game with a left knee injury on the fourth play of the game. Forward safety Jimmy Ward had a foot injury. Was hurt late in the first half. Kansas City linebacker Jack Cochrane fractured his ankle on special teams in the first quarter. Right tackle Jawan Taylor had a knee injury left in the third quarter, and defensive tackle Chris Jones sustained a minor calf strain in the fourth. The Chiefs will head to Pittsburgh on Christmas Day, and Houston welcomes Baltimore for the NFL's doubleheader. It's a doubleheader on Christmas Day, so Houston will be welcoming Baltimore on their home field for their Christmas Day games. Christmas Day game. Right now, I have got to give the game balls to the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 28 of 41 carries and attempts, 260 yards, 1 touchdown. Kareem Hunt, 11 attempts, 55 yards, 1 touchdown, And Xavier Worthy, 7 receptions, 65 yards, 1 touchdown. We're going to do the other one for you right now, the later game yesterday that took place. The Baltimore Ravens walloped the Pittsburgh Steelers 34-17 to go to 10-5 on the season. Pittsburgh falls to 10-5 on the season. And Lamar Jackson was solid in Baltimore's biggest game of the season so far. Then after another one, the star quarterback's rare slip-ups, one of his teammates delivered the play of the day. Jackson threw 3 touchdown passes, and Marlon Humphrey scored on a fourth quarter interception to return help the Ravens pull even with the Pittsburgh Steelers at top of the AFC North at, at a 34-17 victory over the Steelers on Saturday. Uh, Pittsburgh fell to 10-5, would have clinched the division with a victory, but now the teams are deadlocked after the Ravens, who are now 10-5, won for just the second time in the last 10 games in this series. Baltimore clinched a playoff berth. The Steelers had already done so. It was cool to get a pick six, but clinching a spot in the playoffs to beat the Steelers, I'm just happy that the guys came in and put in the work, and we just took care of business, Humphrey said. I felt this team has had our number over the years. Just take care of business, man. Damn it. Excuse me. And man, just take, just take care of business, Humphrey said. Uh, just take care of business, man. That's what I meant to say. I feel like the performance we put on wasn't perfect, but I felt like that's what we were supposed to do. Russell Wilson threw 2 touchdown passes, the second of which tied the game at 17 with 5:14 left in the third quarter. Jackson answered with a 7-yard scoring strike to Mark Andrews, and after Pittsburgh turned the ball over on downs on a 44-yard run by Derrick Henry put the Ravens in the red zone. The drive came to nothing when Jackson was intercepted for the fourth time this season, but then Humphrey, who was celebrating the recent birth of his son Duke, picked off Wilson and went 37 yards to the end zone to give Baltimore a cushion in a series that had been razor thin of late. The previous 9 games between the Steelers and Ravens were decided by 7 points or fewer. My whole family's in town to help out with my wife and everything, Humphrey said. I was texting her before. I'm supposed to go pick her up from the hospital, discharge her with the baby. So there's a lot of just great things that happened this week. Jackson improved to 2-4 against Pittsburgh as a starter. This was the first time facing the Steelers at home since 2020. I feel like we've been busting our behind all season long, had ups and downs throughout the whole season, but to clinch a playoff spot against a great team like that's great, Jackson said. That means we're moving in the right direction. Henry rushed for 162 yards. Pittsburgh entered the game with a plus 18 margin in turnovers, but the Ravens had the edge in that department Saturday. Baltimore recovered 3 of its own fumbles and had 2 big takeaways. We didn't control the run game. We never did. When you don't, you've got to do some splash plays or win the turnover battle in a significant way, and we didn't do that. Steelers coach Mike Tomlin said there were some balls on the ground that we didn't get. Then obviously we turned the ball over going in, and it took 7 points off the board, and they had a pick six. The rest is history, as they say. Jackson found Isaiah Likely for a 9-yard touchdown to open the scoring. Wilson answered with a 1-yard scoring pass to Michael Pruitt, and the Steelers appeared poised to take the lead when the veteran quarterback broke loose for a 19-yard run in Baltimore territory. But Darius Washington delivered a punishing hit on Wilson at the end of that play, jarring the ball loose from Kyle Vanoy, recovered for the Ravens at the Baltimore 4. The Ravens then drove 96 yards and took a 14-7 lead on Jackson's 14-yard touchdown toss to Rashad Bateman. Wilson threw a 12-yard TD to Cordell Patterson to tie it in the third. Jackson set a team record with his 37th touchdown pass of the season, and he's now up to a career high 3,787 yards. Ravens receiver Zay Flowers had 5 catches for 100 yards, surpassing 1,000 on the season. Henry has exceeded 1,500 yards rushing for the 4th time. He is now up to 1,636, a mark he's only surpassed once in his 2,027-yard campaign of 2020. Steelers cornerback Joey Porter Jr. injured his calf, and wide receiver Ben Skowronek hurt his hip, and Baltimore running back Justice Hill left the game because of a concussion. Now, both teams will play on Christmas Day to wrap up stretches of 3 games in 11 days. Pittsburgh will host Kansas City on Wednesday, and Baltimore will play at Houston. And right now, I have got to give the game balls to the Baltimore Ravens. I got to do it. Excuse me. Lamar Jackson, 15 of 23 carries and attempts, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Derrick Henry, 24 attempts, 162 yards. Zay Flowers, 5 receptions, 100 yards. They get the game balls. And as you know, the LA Chargers beat the Denver Broncos at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, 34-27 Thursday night. We'll get to the Browns and all of today's games once I reveal, which is right now I'm going to do that, is reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Week 16 trivia question. And it is a Browns one. Which of these players was a 2007 Pro Bowl selection from the Cleveland Browns? And if you said Joe Thomas, you are correct. Joe Thomas was a 2007 Pro Bowl selection from the Cleveland Browns. He had put up some big numbers that season. And I will have another trivia question on my next podcast, which will be for tomorrow night's Monday Night Football game between the Packers and Saints, so stay tuned for that. And on Christmas Day, I will do my annual Christmas Day podcast of Scott Sports 101. And my guest, I will have a couple of guests on, and that'll be my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle, and his cousin, Aaron Hoyle. And that will be live from my sister and brother-in-law's house, the Hoyle house. And I'm looking forward to that. And that will also be my birthday that day. And I'll be turning 51 that day. Right now, I'm going to begin with the early games, and just to let you know, you already know I took the Chargers, and so did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. And he took the Texans, I took the Chiefs. I won on that, he lost on that. We both won on the Ravens game. And we'll get to the other picks of the week as I move along with the picks here. And right now, well, it was another rough outing for the Browns, but they fell to 3-12, and their season's basically over. They've been eliminated from the playoffs. As the Browns fall again, they drop another one, 24-6 to the Bengals. And Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase kept putting up extraordinary numbers, but the Cincinnati Bengals still needed help to reach the playoffs. They still need help to reach the playoffs. Burrow threw 3 touchdown passes, including one as he was falling to the turf. And the Bengals kept their slim postseason hopes alive with a 24-6 victory over the Cleveland Browns, our Cleveland Browns, on Sunday. This one just keeps us in the race, Burrow said. It feels good to play in big games. Exciting to still be in it. The Bengals are 7-8, have won 3 straight. They need to win their last 2 games to get some help to earn a playoff spot. Burrow finished 23 of 30 for 352 yards and became the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 3 or more TDs and 250 or more yards in 7 straight games, surpassing the records of 6 set by Tom Brady in New England's undefeated 2007 season. Chase had 6 catches for 97 yards and a garbage time touchdown for Cincinnati to reach 1,510 yards this season and break his own franchise record of 1,455 yards set in 2021. It feels good. Something I wanted to do, said Chase, who leads the NFL in receptions 108, receiving yards, and TD catches 16. Me being competitive, I want to compete with myself, who leads the league with 4,229 yards passing and 39 touchdowns. Uh, uh, with Dorian Thompson-Robinson replacing Jameis Winston at quarterback because Winston had been benched, Cleveland, who now stands at 3-12, missed some chances in the red zone. Jerome Ford had a 66-yard run on the first play from scrimmage, but Deontay Foreman fumbled on a 1st-and-goal when Von Bell recovered. And it's a 14-point swing. Bengals coach Zach Taylor said not only did it take life out of them a little bit, getting the stop on the 1-yard line, then going 99 yards gave us a lot of confidence and set the tone. In the third quarter, a holding penalty negated a TD run by Thompson-Robinson, who also had a pass intercepted in the end zone by Jordan Battle. Obviously, you turn the ball over in the red zone, especially the first one, you're not going to put yourself in position to get a win. On the road, Browns coach Kevin Stefanski said, not a lack of effort, it's a lack of protecting the ball. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. They need to protect that ball. And the Bengals cashed in on Foreman's fumble when Burrow, as he was falling, threw a 2-yard TD pass to T. Higgins to cap an 8-play, 99-yard drive. The Bengals defense, which has struggled for most of the season, has forced 9 turnovers in the past 2 games. These guys have done a great job on that side of the ball, getting us extra possessions on offense, Taylor said. Thompson-Robinson passed for 157 yards and 2 interceptions after being named the starter this week ahead of Winston, who was inactive, or should I say benched, with a shoulder injury. He had 49 yards rushing and was sacked 5 times. Ford rushed for 93 yards and a touchdown on 11 carries. Burrow threw Burrow threw a 32-yard touchdown pass to Chase with a minute 44 left when the Bengals only needed to run out the clock. Cincinnati's Cade York, a former Browns draft pick, tied a franchise record with a 59-yard field goal on the final play of the first half to make it 17-0. It matched Evan McPherson's record, 59-yarder, Evan McPherson's 59-yarder, on September 11th, 2022. McPherson is on injured reserve with a groin injury. There was no ill will, York said about the Browns. I really enjoyed my time over there. It was nice to see, to beat them tough. To beat them, though, not tough, though. Myles Garrett, who said this week the Browns franchise should be focused on winning, not rebuilding, recorded his 100th sack of his career in the second quarter. I made my dad proud, Garrett said. He's been telling me through my last 3 weeks, I'm happy to get it done. There is no quitting in my blood. Garrett has 12 sacks, joining Lawrence Taylor as the only players with 12 or more in 5 straight seasons. Browns' 2 key starters returned. Tight end David Njoku and quarterback Martin Emerson Jr. both returned today. And Bengals right tackle Amarius Mims left the game with a left ankle injury and didn't return. Left tackle Orlando Brown Jr. was inactive and with an injured fibula. And the Browns will host Miami next Sunday and the Bengals will host Denver next Saturday. So I will not hold my breath on the Browns beating Miami next week. So, but we shall see. I know we're wanting another Browns win, but I wouldn't hold your breath on it because these last two games we have are tough ones. Uh, and I got to give the game balls, unfortunately, to the Cincinnati Bengals. You got to give them to them. Joe Burrow, 223 of 30 carries and attempts, 252 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 6 receptions, 97 yards, 1 touchdown. And uh, Chase Brown, uh, 18 attempts, 91 yards. And for Dorian Thompson, for the Browns, Dorian Thompson Robinson, 20 of 34 carries and attempts, 157 yards, 2 interceptions. Jerome Ford, 11 attempts, 92 yards, 1 touchdown. And David Njoku, 8 receptions, 66 yards. But for the Browns, they need to really work on protecting the football. They really need to do that. And you need to do that, boys. But they're looking ahead to the 2025 season and the upcoming draft, and they need to draft a quarterback or a kicker and possibly an additional wide receivers and some other pieces of the puzzle. So we shall see what they do. And I took the Bengals and won on that one. And my brother-in-law, sorry, my brother-in-law, I knocked over my webcam, and I'm sorry. My brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle, he took the Browns and lost. And now we'll get to the other early games. The Atlanta Falcons, with Kirk Cousins being benched under Michael Penix Jr., walloped, manhandled the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, 34-7 today. And boy, Atlanta really looked good in this game. And I give the game balls to Michael Penix Jr. and the Falcons. The Carolina Panthers upset the Arizona Cardinals in overtime as they lose to the Panthers in overtime, and at 36-30, I give them to Bryce Young and the Panthers. And I took Atlanta and won on the Atlanta Giants game. So did my brother-in-law, Eric Coyle. I took Arizona and lost on that one. That was the other one I wanted to mention that I lost on that one. And so did my brother-in-law. He took Arizona and lost. The Detroit Lions really beat the Chicago Bears 34-17 at Soldier Field in Chicago. And I give it to Jared Goff and Amon St. Brown and the rest of the Detroit Lions, the game balls. And I took Detroit on that one. And so did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. Indianapolis Colts win by 8, 38-30 over the Titans at Lucas Oil Stadium to get the win over the Titans. They won 38-30 over the Titans today at Lucas Oil Stadium. And I took my brother-in-law took the Colts and lost. He took the Titans and lost. I took the Colts and won on that one. And I give the game balls to Joe Flacco and the Indianapolis Colts. The LA Rams beat the New York Jets 19-9 at MetLife Stadium in Inglewood and MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Excuse me. And the Jets, they were held 3 field goals today. That's what they were held to. And I took the Rams and won. My brother-in-law took the Jets and he lost. And rounding out the early games, the Washington Commanders upset the Philadelphia Eagles and hand the Eagles their 3rd loss of the season with a 36-33 win. The Commanders score a touchdown in the final seconds of the 4th quarter, and Philly there was not enough time for Philly to try to come back. And so I give the game balls to the Washington Commanders to Terry McLaurin and Alex Smith and the rest of the Commanders. And I took Philadelphia and lost. And so did my brother-in-law. He took Philadelphia and lost as well. We both lost on that one. Now getting into the late games. Uh, the Minnesota Vikings beat the Seattle Seahawks at Lumen Field in Seattle by a field goal, 24-27. Sam Darnold gets a game on. So is Justin Jefferson, and so they really put up a good performance today, and they really were able to hold off Seahawks. They had to play deflected in the fourth quarter, and they were able to hold off the Seahawks and get the win. I took Minnesota in one, and so did my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle. He took Minnesota. The Buffalo Bills, after being down 14-7 at halftime, and throughout the first half, they rallied to beat the New England Patriots 24-21. And boy, New England had a good sized lead, and they could not hold on to it, and they let it slip. I took the Bills in one, so did my brother-in-law. And the Las Vegas Raiders get their first win at home in a long time. They're now 3-10 in the season. And Jacksonville falls to 3-13, 19-14 over the Jaguars. And this was a prison inmate game. It was a low-scoring game, but I took Jacksonville and I lost on that one. And my brother-in-law took the Raiders and he won on that one. So rounding out the late games, the Miami Dolphins beat the San Francisco 49ers 29-17. And San Francisco did have a lead at one point, but they were not able to hold it. They were up 7-6 and could not hold that lead. They could not add to it either. So with Washington's win, San Francisco's loss, San Francisco is out of the playoff race. They're eliminated from it. They will not make the playoffs this year. And it's, I think, a Super Bowl hangover from last year. They were hoping to get back there, but it's not meant to be this year. And right now we're at the Sunday night game, and tomorrow Green Bay and New Orleans will play at legendary Lambeau Field. Right now we're at the Sunday night game. It is 13 to, and I get for that last game. I get the game balls to Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, and the Dolphins, and it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. And for the Miami Niners game, I took the Dolphins, so my brother-in-law both won on that one. We have 7 that we didn't agree on, and right now it's 13-7 Dallas in the second quarter at AT&T Sam and Big D. 5:11 to go, 1st and 10. Dallas at the Dallas 34. The Buccaneers have the ball, and I took Tampa Bay, and my brother-in-law, he took the Cowboys. That's the only other one we didn't agree on. And so right now I am 11-3 right now. My brother-in-law is 10-5. That is his record right now. Or 8-5, excuse me. He's 8-5. Not 10-5, he's 8-5. I'm 11-3. And I'm going to just give you an update of what's happened so far between Dallas and Tampa Bay and Dallas. First quarter, the Cowboys tried to score a touchdown, but they were not. They got into field goal range, 4th and 5th at the Tampa Bay 40. Brandon Aubrey's 58-yard field goal was good, and it was 3-0 Cowboys. Then the Bucks had a turnover on downs, 4th and 3 at the Dallas 48. Baker Mayfield's pass incomplete, short middle to Shepard was for no gain. That was a turnover on downs. And then the Cowboys scored their first touchdown of the game. Cooper Rush passed short middle to Tolbert for the 10-yard touchdown. And Brandon Aubrey's extra point is good. And it was 10-0 Cowboys. Then the Bucks had the punt after going 3 and out, 3 plays, 9 yards. And the Cowboys had the punt after going 3 and out, 3 plays, 2 yards. And it was 10-0 at the end of the first quarter. Then the Bucks finally scored their first touchdown of the game. It was a 2nd and goal at the Dallas 2. Irving right in for the 2-yard touchdown. Chase McLaughlin's extra point is good. And it was 10-7 Dallas. And then Dallas tried to score another touchdown. They couldn't. They got in the field goal range. Fourth and fifth at the Tampa Bay 31. Brandon Aubrey's 49-yard field goal was good, and it was uh, 13-7 Dallas. And for Holder Anger got injury and does an injury update on Dallas is uh, uh, Waltzitsko has returned to the game. And right now in the current drive, it's the Bucks that have the ball. Third and fifth at the Dallas 40. Baker Mayfield sacked at the Dallas 45 for 5 yards. And right now, that is where we stand right now. So, yeah, well, can Tampa Bay really get the winner with Dallas? Hold on, we'll have to wait and see. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101. Saturday NFL recap and Browns and NFL early and late games recap show. I'll be back with the Sunday Night Football postgame show once the game between the Bucks and Cowboys has concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done. Oh, excuse me.